Hey, it's Kari Peters, and thanks for coming to hang out on Kari TV today, the place that helps you ignite your life and business with purpose. So I've got a question for you. If you could free yourself financially, which parts of your life would be better? And if you built an online business, could you pay off your debt, get off the corporate wheel, and have more freedom and time to follow your purpose in life? And if that sounds like you're going to be pretty stoked about who I've got on my show today. So, Corbett, thanks for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
Cool. And I just want to explain to everyone who hasn't come across you before. So, Corbett Barr is the founder of Free Pursuits, Think Traffic, and Expert Enough. So, Corbett's created a course that I've done myself called Start a Blog That Matters. And in fact, I think you created quite a few more than those. And that course in itself has helped thousands of entrepreneurs start and grow their blogs into money-making businesses today. So more recently, Corbett joined Superpowers with two very fine young lads, Caleb and Chase Reeves. Now, I'm always worried I'm going to get Caleb's name wrong. Is it Wojcik? Have I got that right?
You got it. You got it.
Okay, brilliant. So Caleb and Chase have joined down with Corbett to create Fizzle.co, and that's a pro training membership site for people building their thing online. So I've got to say, if you're thinking about building your business online, Fizzle.co. If you're not signed up, go and get signed up. Okay, Corbett, it's great to finally hang out with you. It kind of feels like I've known you for ages already in any case. But
yeah, thanks for having me on. And I have to say, I was nodding my head yes when you were asking those questions at the beginning.
Cool. All right, so let's talk about freedom and purpose. So those are two of my favorite things in the whole wide world, because after watching your freedom journey from Think Traffic to Fizzle, it feels like we've been friends for years already. So you know I love freedom, and it's such a privilege to have not only financial freedom, but time freedom to fit the work I'm passionate about around my beautiful life, and location freedom to work from anywhere in the world. So one of the reasons why I coach women to succeed at freedom in business is to give them the time and space to follow their own purpose, to get their lives back. So that doesn't necessarily mean you can't live your purpose in the job you're in, but a lot of women I coach are unfulfilled in their jobs and really desperate to get out to do something that matters to them. So what I hear most at the moment is, Kari, I'm tired of working so hard for so little return, and I know I should feel grateful for having a job, but I can't shake the feeling that there must be more to life than this. And then I also hear I'm tired of asking for permission to take time off. This is my life, yet it seems as if my boss has more control over it than I do. And I even hear I'm tired of feeling like a hamster on a wheel, keeping up with the rat race by going to the same place at the same time every day. And I'd give anything just to break that cycle and have a change of scenery for a few days a week. So don't workplaces know that inspiration and productivity don't clock in at the same times every single day? So this is where building an online business becomes so attractive. And Corbett, you've been down this road before. So I'm curious, what made you so passionate about freedom that you started your own blog and turned it into a business?
Great question. And again, I'm like nodding my head yes, because all of those things that you said, I felt myself a while back when I was in the corporate world. So I have a similar background, I think, to a lot of people that are watching this. I ended up being a corporate consultant to Fortune 500 companies. They would send me around the country to work on big technology and business strategy problems. And I felt myself like I wasn't fulfilled. I didn't really care about the projects I was working on. It was nice that they paid me well, but I had so little control over my life that I wondered if there was more. And at the same time, I always had this nagging feeling in the back of my mind that I would never truly be satisfied and fulfilled in life unless I saw if I had what it took to build a business. Because for some reason, I had always just been interested in that since I was a kid, and yet had never found the right time to kind of pull the trigger and make it work. So eventually, sort of fortuitously, I moved to San Francisco, and I was connecting with old colleagues and people that I knew in the area. And someone that I met with happened to be in the planning stages of building a business and was looking for people to help. And I met with him a number of times, and ended up joining as a co-founder in the very beginning stages of a new business idea. And this was about 8.5 years ago. So now, I've been an entrepreneur now for 8.5 years, and somehow it has worked out since then. But I have to tell you that first year was painful because it takes a lot of figuring out how to build something that people actually want. Because all of these things that you are talking about sound really great. Obviously, I want freedom. I want to find my purpose. I want to do more with my life and put my skills to use. But it's really easy when you're working for someone else to simply do what they ask of you. When you're building your own business, really the goal is that you have to find a group of people that have some sort of problem, need, or desire that you think you can solve somehow, and then to turn your solution into a compelling product or service. And that's much easier said than done. I mean, I just described what a business is in 2 sentences, but in reality, it can take you many months or sometimes years to figure that out. And so the first year as an entrepreneur, I spent basically building software prototypes, shopping that around to venture capitalists. Eventually, we raised a bunch of money, but after 3 years, the business still hadn't figured out how we were going to earn revenue, and then the financial world collapsed in 2008, and that left me with more questions than I had before about entrepreneurship, about whether or not it was really for me, about if I could continue to make it work, and I felt like I had to start over again. So, it's a different journey for everybody, and that's kind of the beginning of my entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, well, that's it's quite a long journey. I must admit, I didn't realize that from the blog that I've read of yours and how much more there was behind it. It kind of sounds a lot easier when you're coming at it from a different perspective and you don't know the full history.
Yep, absolutely. And you have to be aware of that, because I think a lot of people online tell you about all the good parts and not necessarily about all the struggles. And the struggles are where the real learning comes from, I think.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point, because some of the women I'm busy coaching are still working and happy to kind of slowly explore the business ideas on the side. But most are really determined to take that leap right now. It's an urgent need. Or they actually have already taken the plunge. So they need a profitable plan pronto, like yesterday. So they haven't got time or money to waste on training courses. I know for myself, I've done training course after training course, and it took me a lot of years, over a decade of years of building up experience to finally get there. But and these guys also don't have the time to waste on businesses that won't work. So one thing I love about you is your honesty about your whole process. So I think I've heard you say yourself that overnight success takes at least 1.5 years of hard work to achieve. And I remember reading how it took you 18 months and 2 blogs to build a 6-figure online business. And that's why I've always liked reading your blog, because you're not one of those schmoozy, I'll make you rich overnight kind of guys. So what advice can you give to our viewers out there who've already walked out of their jobs and need to start earning an online income as soon as possible?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I don't mean to say that some people can't build it faster, but I've been able to work with thousands of people that all have hopes of building successful online businesses. And I just know that the ones that succeed tend to take 9 months at the earliest, and a lot of them 1.5 years or even longer. And I think that just helps to help you frame, the expectations that you have going forward. And if you have taken the plunge already and you're trying to build it, that's great. There's going to be a lot of stuff for you to learn along the way. The most important thing for you is to figure out how you're going to earn revenue the fastest. You don't have time to build your ultimate vision of what your business will be 5 or 10 years from now. You need to get revenue in the door now. And that means that you have to come up with a compelling product or service that solves some tangible problem for a specific group of people. And the fastest way I know to earn revenue is probably through services like coaching or consulting, or just somehow diving in and rolling up your sleeves and essentially working as a consultant or a freelancer, that sort of thing, offering your skills in exchange for people paying you directly. And I know that might not be the sexiest thing, the kind of thing that you want to build long term, but it does a couple of things. The first is that it buys you time and gets you revenue right now so that your runway is longer, which is very important. You need to be looking at very carefully how much money do I have in the bank, how much do I have coming in, and how long can I go at this business with that amount of money in front of me. The second thing that it does is that working one-on-one with people really helps you do some incredible market research, and it helps you to go very deep into the problem that you're trying to solve, because trying to build a product like a book or maybe some software, something that solves problems for a lot of people, is tough if you haven't really had the experience of working with people one-on-one to understand how the solution that you bring actually helps people, what questions they have, where they get stuck, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really great to work one-on-one with people, whether or not you plan to do that for the long haul, and definitely in the beginning if you need to get revenue in the door right away.
Okay. It's great advice. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And when you launched your first training program, was that the affiliate marketing course?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. And you earned $11,000 in 72 hours, is that right?
That's right. Yep.
Wow. Okay, so that's incredible, and it gives a lot of hope to the women out there who I am coaching at the moment. So I know that they're dying to ask you this question. What steps did you take to make that launch such a success?
Well, first, I spent 15 months prior to launching that writing blog posts every week, probably 3 a week. So I would guess by that point I had published nearly 200 blog posts on my site, and I had really built an audience. So what you're seeing there, the results of that launch after earning $11,000 in 72 hours, that was the result of all that hard work that I had done beforehand. So on one hand, it sounds really incredible, but on the other hand, that is all of the revenue that I had to show for myself from product launches after 15 months, to be honest. So it kind of depends on how you look at it. But the product that I built there basically taught people about affiliate marketing, which is simply earning a commission for selling someone else's product. And that can be a really great way to get started as well, because you don't have to go through the process of building the product. You simply have to find the customers, and then you get paid. You don't have to do the customer support, the product development, all that kind of stuff. So essentially what I had done was I had learned how to earn an income through affiliate marketing. And because I had a relationship with people through my blog, I was able to find out that a lot of other people were interested in what I had done to earn an income through affiliate marketing. So it became clear that by creating a product around that, there were already going to be people there that were interested in buying. So that was the big part, is essentially building the audience and doing the homework to find out what they needed from me. And then as far as the actual launch goes, I'm a big fan of getting your audience involved early, and that means a couple of things. One is to survey them and to talk to them directly to find out exactly what they're expecting from you, what you could create that they would be interested in buying, and then also to help them shape the actual product along the way. So as you're leading up to launch, have them give you input, have them help you understand what chapters and features and things should be in your course. And that serves a dual purpose. You're making a better product, but you're also informing them along the way that it's going to be coming out, and you're over-communicating with them about the fact that your launch day is coming up on a certain date. And then in exchange for that feedback, you can offer people a discount if they buy the initial version. So for me, for example, I believe that course ended up costing $77 or $97, depending on what package you bought. But the first version that I sold, I think I sold for $37 or $47, something like that. So I gave people a substantial discount on what the eventual price would be, because it was the first time that I'd come out with the course, because I wanted to thank them for giving me feedback, and I wanted to give them a reason to buy, not only because what was in the course, but also because there was a limited time offer. And that's another big thing. You have to learn how to sell things, as you're an entrepreneur. And a lot of us that worked in corporate jobs never had to sell anything. We had to do our job, which didn't involve selling directly. Maybe it was in marketing, or maybe it was in customer service, or something that's important. But learning to sell is a critical skill that all of us as entrepreneurs have to learn.
Okay. And just before you launched your product, did you think about a number in your head, what critical mass you needed before you launched it? Like you had 10,000 subscribers to your newsletter list, or was it more the timing that you launched on?
Yeah, at the time, I'm guessing that I had probably around 1,500, maybe 2,000 subscribers to my email list. And honestly, I think I waited too long. In hindsight, it's 2020, and everything's fine for me now, obviously. But at the time, it was a bit of a struggle because I had been blogging for 15 months. I was earning money from affiliate marketing and from services, but I wasn't fully supporting myself. I was still dipping into my cash reserves. And there's a lot that you can learn from a product launch, whether or not it's successful. And I encourage people to launch sooner than they feel comfortable with. And what I know from my experience is that I ended up talking myself out of actually launching that product for probably around 6 months. I had the idea. I told friends about it. I told people that were that I was in, small groups with, that I was planning to build this thing. And then I kind of put it on a shelf for 6 months because I thought that it wasn't the right product. I thought that I wasn't ready. I thought that there were better opportunities out there. All kinds of excuses kept me from actually putting it out there. And I ended up, burning a lot more cash because I simply, I think, there's this, you're afraid that you're going to put something out there and that nobody's going to want it. And, that's a very real possibility, but you're not going to learn to create things that people want unless you go through that painful process of putting things out there to see if they actually want them.
It's so true. You sound like my twin from another mother. I'm exactly the same. Okay, so for anyone watching who doesn't know, Start a Blog That Matters, which I've done myself, by the way, is quite literally everything anyone needs to know about getting a blog off the ground without breaking the bank. And I've researched many, many, many courses out there, some that charge $2,000 for a course just like yours. But back then, and this is actually quite a few years ago, you were charging $29 as a once-off fee. And I remember my first perception of the price was that this is an honest guy. He knows his stuff. And he's not just trying to make himself rich at other people's expense. So I kind of got the feeling that you genuinely want to help people out, and that really resonated with me. So I signed up and I checked out the course. And I think the important thing for me was at no point did I ever feel disappointed. And coming from marketing myself, we speak about post-purchase dissonance, and that's really that feeling when you've paid a lot of money for something and afterwards you cringe because you're not sure if you made the right decision. And with your course, there was none of that. So the price was a no-brainer. And the course material over-delivered in value. I'm curious how you came up with that particular price point. Was it based on a crazy amount of competitor research and smart strategy, or did you just trust your gut and go with a price that felt right?
I learned along the way some things about myself and about the marketplace, and that is that I constantly heard from people who had spent $2,000 on a course and felt like they had been ripped off. I knew that when I came across courses like that, I felt the greedy part of myself want to believe that for $2,000 I would get some magical result because I had spent so much on it. And then sort of fighting that urge to find out what was on the other side as well. I think that's a lot of why people buy those courses, because they think, wow, $2,000, there must be something really magical in there. And fighting that myself and just hearing from people over and over again that there was a lot of hype and frankly a lot of sleaze on the internet around selling products and convincing people that you had some magic secret to building a business when there aren't a whole lot of secrets. I also had dabbled with different price points myself, had sold products for cheaper prices and some for $500, $600, $700, that sort of thing. And I found that I was just more comfortable as an entrepreneur selling things for a lower price point because I knew that I could over-deliver on the value. I knew that I could win people over and that might turn them into evangelists for my own product and that it would grow my audience more, and that there are 7 billion people on the planet or whatever, there is definitely enough people out there to earn a healthy living selling a product for $10 or $50 or $100 or whatever. You don't necessarily need to milk people for all they're worth in order to earn a decent living. And now we've gone actually even further in the other direction. Our main flagship product, actually the only thing that we sell now, which is a training library that contains everything, including Starter Blog That Matters. We sell that now for $35 a month, but you can actually get in for $1 because we believe that it's going to be right for some people and it's not right for others. But if you get in for $1 and you check it out, you're probably going to like it. In fact, the majority of people who do actually like it and they end up sticking around. And so I just want to let the product speak for itself and find the people who it's right for instead of cornering people into a limited time purchasing decision.
Right, and it makes so much more sense. I've seen a lot of programs where they charge anything from $500 to $5,000, and you might be able to get your money back after a month or 60 days, but it's not nearly as enticing as that $1 trial period. So I take my hat off to you for using that.
Thank you.
One thing I was wondering was about which came first. Was it the idea for your course, Start a Blog That Matters, or one of the ones prior to that? And you built your blog strategically towards that product, or did the blog come first? I think you had free pursuits before and then Think Traffic. So was it that came first and the course that progressed through that?
Yeah, so I had been blogging for about almost 3 years before I launched that course. And I had built 2 blogs myself, actually 3 by that point. I had built 3 blogs myself, each to at least 50,000 monthly visitors. And I had also become a strategic advisor to people with some very big blogs, like Zen Habits from Leo Babauta or Man vs. Debt with Adam Baker. I had also worked one-on-one with people to build blogs and had success with that as well. I helped Scott Dinsmore build his site Live Your Legend, which now is off in the stratosphere in terms of audience size and impact. So I had been working on this problem for years, and I had been asking myself, what is it that makes some blogs successful? A handful, really a small handful when you think about it, because there are hundreds of millions of blogs out there. And what is it that makes the difference between the ones that take off and the vast majority that go basically unnoticed? And started asking and answering those questions for myself. And once I had learned a bit of a formula that was repeatable, that I had proven through work with people, I decided to create that, package it up into a product and sell it as a Start a Blog That Matters course.
Oh, okay. And then, back then you started out as a one-man band. So I think the solo entrepreneur world was curious when you co-launched with Fizzle, and that being with Caleb and Chase. Or at least I was curious about it. So let's face it, Caleb and Chase are great guys, and you make an absolutely brilliant team with your different skill sets. But I know someone out there must be thinking it. What made you transition from running your own successful blogs and training programs to launching Fizzle with 2 new partners? Because logically, you'd need to grow to be at least 3 times more successful to split your income up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great question. And I think that I built my business alone for at least a couple of years, 2.5, 3 years, something like that, before I brought Caleb on. And Caleb actually started with me, just as a regular, contractor, helping me out with various things, and eventually grew into the co-founding role for Fizzle that you see him in now. I built the business over those years because I wanted to figure things out for myself, because it's hard to find someone that you can trust in the beginning, because I know that there are a lot of arguments and difficult things that happen if you partner with someone in the very beginning and you're sort of competing for who gets to put their idea forth and have it proven and that sort of thing. So I didn't want to put myself in that position where I had partners and co-founders from the very beginning. But once I had built the business up to a place where I could afford to pay people and I could afford to bring people on without necessarily giving up all the control that I had built for myself in the beginning, then it became clear that I could kind of have the best of both worlds. I could still be in the ultimate driver's seat with the business, but I could also have other people around who brought different skill sets and could help me take the product to a place that I couldn't take myself. Chase is brilliant with design, and Caleb is fantastic with video. And together, the three of us just have capabilities that I didn't have on my own. The other thing was that after building a business and growing it and running it myself for a number of years, I simply was just ready for a vacation, like a true vacation where I could disconnect for a week or two and not worry that the business was going to fall apart. So bringing other people on was partly just out of necessity as well to give myself a break. And now I can tell you it's a lot easier to run the business with a few people, given the way that I built it and given that I still have control over the business, but am able to rely on these guys because I've given them a big stake in what we're building together. So we all feel like we're at the driver's seat, at the table, building this together. They're incentivized in the same way that I am. And now one of us can go off for a couple of weeks or maybe a month or two on a trip and know that the business is going to keep moving along.
I think that explains it. I remember bombing an email off to Chase to ask if he could help me out with my site, and he replied very politely and said he's moved on with another project, and I suspect it might have been yours. But yeah,
I basically took him and Caleb off the market. So unfortunately, they're not available for freelancing, but they're doing great work inside of Fizzle.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Now I'm wondering if this was your decision or if it was all of three of you guys together, but you've moved away from the once-off payments that you used to run with your training programs, and it's now, or Fizzle has become a monthly membership model. Why? And how has this been going?
It's been going great. First of all, Fizzle has about 1,200 active members in there, happy, connecting with each other, making progress in their business every month. Those are our customers now, essentially. We used to have multiple products. We had Blog That Matters. We had the affiliate marketing course. We had something called Traffic School. And I find myself always wanting to consolidate and focus on one thing. And Fizzle gave us the opportunity to roll all of those different training programs essentially into one affordable monthly membership that we can focus on, put all of our attention to, and make it less confusing for our customers, because our customers a lot of times were wondering, where should I start? Is this course right or is that course right? And then within the courses, it was difficult to say, well, what you learned from this other course when not everybody had taken it yet. And so it just made sense for us because of where we wanted to help our customers go and because of the way we wanted to focus on things. It made sense for us to do essentially one thing, and that is to build this training library and community under one roof where every customer is essentially created equal in our minds. And we're really happy we made that decision, and it's been going well, and I don't see us changing that decision for a long time.
Okay. So this is a little sneaky one that I'm going to get in there. What do you think is your secret behind the success of Fizzle at the moment?
I think that our secret is partly just all of the effort that I put in prior to it and really getting to know the struggles of independent entrepreneurs and what they faced and what they needed to know, and then involving those people very early on. So we didn't work for 2 years on Fizzle and then release it all at once. We actually announced very early on that this was our intention, this is what we were planning to build, and we set a very aggressive launch date for us. We actually only worked on Fizzle for about 7 weeks before we first launched it. And when we launched it, we brought only a very limited number of people in as charter members, and we asked them to give us feedback and to help us shape the direction of this thing going forward, because we knew that we didn't have all the answers. We needed to find out what people wanted, what they expected, and what they needed, and that if we got them involved and really took their feedback to heart and then changed direction based on that, we would learn a lot and we would end up with a better product. So essentially we're following principles that you may have heard of referenced as lean startup ideas. Absolutely. The idea is basically you got to get close to your customers as soon as you can, listen to them, and then pivot and adapt based on their feedback. And that's really what we did with Fizzle, and it took off, I think, largely as a result of that.
Okay, cool. All right, so I let my audience know that I was speaking to you today and put a question out there. A lot of my solo entrepreneur clients came to me for coaching to brainstorm new product launch ideas and create action plans and grow their businesses, or to grow their businesses, and to weigh up different options so that they could make the right decisions for their business. One of my favorite questions was from Taryn, where she asked, how do you personally brainstorm, plan, and make decisions? So do you have a personal mentor or even a group mentor for all three of you, or do you just wing it and see what happens?
That's a great question. And there's kind of two areas there, I think. The first is, I usually do quite a bit of brainstorming myself. I love to take a day or two, probably every quarter, and wipe everything off the calendar and go somewhere unique and just, think and plan and imagine what could be possible and count my blessings and be thankful for what I have and see what comes out of it. But we also have a couple of formal planning mechanisms. We, as a team, operate on cycles of 3 months or so, and then we break that down into weekly planning sessions where we get together, we talk about what's coming up, what we want to get done, that sort of thing. So we have this sort of formal planning process as a team. I also have informal planning sessions with some guys that I've been fortunate enough to get to know that happen to live in San Francisco that also are entrepreneurs that run similar kinds of businesses. And we meet, when I'm in San Francisco fairly regularly, probably at least once a month or so over coffee or tea or wine or dinner, whatever it is. And we just talk informally about what each other is working on and get feedback from each other about, if we think that's a great idea or not. And that's important to me because I get to see what other people are working on. I get to hear about it. I get to be inspired by the things that they're doing. And then we get to kind of swap, stories about what's working and what's not. And it's important. And it happens to be informal, but I've also had sessions or groups that were more formal. In the past, I had a mastermind group during the first couple of years that I got started where 3 or 4 of us met every week just to hold each other accountable. We weren't paying for anything. These were just friends that I had met that we formally met every week to talk about what we were working on, what we could use help with, and what we were planning to do for the next week. So those groups, whether formal or informal, are really important, and I encourage people to form them.
And did you find that location really played a role there, being based where you are?
Yes and no. In the beginning, no, because the mastermind group that I was a part of that really kept me in the game and helped me make a lot of progress was not location-based. We actually just met over Skype and talked just like you and I are right now, and that was really important. Now, it is nice to have something that is local and based where I am because it's more fun to go out and have dinner with people if you can. But on the other hand, the team that I built with Chase and Caleb and myself, we are distributed. Chase now lives in Portland. Caleb lives in San Diego. I'm in Mexico right now, although a lot of times I'm in San Francisco. And it still works.
I was wondering about that T-shirt. But isn't it cold where you're living right now?
No, it's 85 degrees out and sunny. So
okay. All right. So
and this is where we spend the winters now. I'm in Mexico every winter for about 3 months, and I'm able to run the business here because of magic tools like Skype and Google Hangout, and just because I have a couple of guys working with me that I really trust.
Location freedom.
Exactly.
In fact, that's an interesting one. I was about to ask you if you were in Mexico right now, because what is that hanging behind you?
That's a tapestry, and we're actually staying in a friend's place right now, and we get to enjoy the decorations that he and his wife had put up, local art that they had bought, and it's cool. It's cool to live in a different environment. I think it just helps your headspace. I get to go surfing quite a bit while we're here, and just enjoy a nice sunny climate instead of the rain or whatever that we might expect in the normal winters up in California.
Okay, and is that surfing time important spiritual time for you to get your inspiration for your planning?
Yeah, I'm a big believer that fitness makes you more creative and just happier and more well-adjusted in general. So I'm really lucky that I get to go out and spend a couple of hours a day doing something really fun and active.
Yes. Okay.
And I know you believe the same thing because I think you were out tossing the frisbee for your dog earlier today,
little
right?
Boston Terrier. That's right. Yeah, we thought we weren't going to make it in time, but no, it was an amazing day at the beach today. Right. So, well, back on track. I've got another one for you.
Sure.
From the audience. Some of your training programs were created by the Fizzle team, so I call it the Triple C. You, Corbett, Caleb, and Chase. And others by smart guys like Scott Dinsmore from Live Your Legend and Leo Babata from Zen Habits. So how did you guys meet up, or at least how did you meet Scott and Leo, and how did you approach them to integrate their courses into Fizzle?
Mm-hmm. And this is one of the most important lessons from my entrepreneurial career, and that is that it's very important to plug in and connect with other entrepreneurs in the same space and not to look at people as competitors, but to look at people as potential friends because those relationships have been so valuable to me, partly just because of the informal chats, strategy sessions that we have, and partly because formally each of us send one another customers and business and ideas, and then we help each other out occasionally with products and things like that. So Leo I met because I went to a talk that he was giving, and someone that I was there at the talk with had talked with him before, and we invited him to have a beer with us after the talk, and he was gracious enough to join us. That's where that relationship started, and now we're pretty close friends, and we do workouts together and things like that because we both live in the same neighborhood. Scott I met because he attended a meetup that I put on. So about 3 years ago or so, I held occasional meetups. I would just write on my blog that, hey, I'm going to have a casual get-together tonight, and we're going to hang out over drinks and chat about business. Come if you would like. And, sometimes a few people would come, sometimes 15, 20 people would come. It just kind of depended. And Scott was one of those people that showed up one of those times. We hit it off early on. He was obviously a bright guy who was going to do really great things. And I was lucky enough to be able to sort of coach him early on. And I feel like I've gotten more from that relationship than he has from me, even though I was able to help him build that blog. But now he's doing such incredible things. So, I think being able to connect with people and recognize some as potential rising stars, you don't always want to try to only connect with A-list people because it's really difficult to get on their radar and to form relationships with them. But on the other hand, if you can recognize people when you're just starting out and they're just starting out, but you can see that they have that special spark, that fire that's going to enable them to do really great things, then I think that's a great place to start. And to create relationships based just on friendship and people that you think you'll enjoy connecting with as opposed to looking for something from those people necessarily.
And I must admit, I think there's a common thread through all of you where there's that genuine desire to help people and really being just smack down to earth. So it's a good bunch of guys you've got there. Okay, we've spoken about freedom, but assuming that freedom allows you to live your purpose, have you figured out what you were born to do, and are you doing that right now? I'm sure Scott might have been able to help you in this department.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know exactly if I'm doing what I was born to do. I think that's a question that none of us can necessarily answer. But I do feel very fulfilled in what I'm doing, and I do feel as though I have a mission and a purpose. And that is that I believe that the world is better off when people are more connected to the work that they do and more connected to the customers that they serve. I think that the way that our culture has gone and trended towards people working for massive corporations with 10 or 20 or 100,000 people, all doing little things that don't feel like they're actually contributing to some sort of greater purpose or to helping customers out. I don't think that that's necessarily good for society. I think it might be good for profits and good for bottom line, but I don't know a whole lot of people in the corporate world that were truly fulfilled and that were living lives that they felt like they should be living. And I just know that the people that I know now who are entrepreneurs, even though it's a struggle and even though it's difficult and even though it's hard to build something in the beginning, the people who do succeed, I just see them come alive and feel like they're doing something that they really should be doing. And I am completely happy with making it my life's mission to help other people fulfill their dreams as an entrepreneur, and to see more of them come alive and to become the people that they really feel like they should be. So yes, absolutely. And at the same time, I get to live this incredible life, this life of freedom that we've been talking a little bit about. Not only do I get to help people and feel fulfilled and purpose-driven, but also I've just built the life that I could only dream of, in terms of the way that I get to travel and the people that I get to work with and the hours that I get to put in and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I must admit the first time I ever spoke to you was a few years back, and that's when I was still in the corporate world, and doing your course was one of the first ones that inspired me to start planning for that plunge. So your work has been an inspiration to me, but I can honestly say since I've taken that plunge, it's been the best decision I've ever made. So for all of the people out there who want to do the same thing, go for it.
Yep, absolutely. I 110% agree, and I look back on times where I might have given up. In fact, I remember contemplating it, even telling people that I wasn't sure about going forward, and I'm just so happy that I kept putting one foot in front of the other.
It's true. But Corbett, this was absolutely awesome. Thanks so much for joining me this evening. So what an inspiring conversation. I know you've inspired me in the past. I'm sure you've inspired some other people through this chat that we've had today. So let's keep on talking about this in the comments below. Corbett and I have got a challenge for you in the comments section below. So first of all, tell us about the one thing that is holding you back from starting a business that will set you free financially and give you the time and location freedom that you're looking for. So it doesn't matter where you're at with your journey right now. Most of us aren't where we want to be yet. And then secondly, what we'd love to know, besides what's holding you back, is what small action can you take today that will show the universe that you are ready to live your dream, to live your life with purpose and freedom. So tell us about that in the comments below. And if you like this video, please head over to caripeters.com and sign up for our email updates to get even more inspiration to ignite your life and your business with purpose. So I truly believe that life is short. Know who you are, follow your purpose, and make it the best that it can be. And I'll see you next time on Kari TV. Corbett,
thanks so much, Karen.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate this and the insight into your life and your business at the moment. I've absolutely loved it. So thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me on, Kari, and I really appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.